What if everything you know about the first humans is wrong? For decades, we were fed a comfortable lie. We were shown a simple linear path of progress, a straight line from ape to man. It was a story of inevitable victory, a clean march from the forest floor to the skyscrapers of New York and Tokyo. But the deeper we dig into the earth, the more we realize that our origins are far more mysterious, far more chaotic, and far more terrifying than science ever dared to tell us. The truth is, for most of our history, we were not the masters of this planet. We were the hunted. We were a fringe species, clinging to life on the edge of extinction, surrounded by a world that wanted us dead. Millions of years ago, Earth was not a garden. It was a brutal, unforgiving laboratory. It was a world of giants. Imagine a landscape where the grass hid cats the size of bears with fangs like daggers, the Machaerodontini. Imagine hyenas as tall as horses and eagles large enough to carry away a human child. To survive in this world, you didn't just need strength, you needed luck. Survival was never guaranteed. Yet, against all odds, the first humans endured. But here is the shocking truth that changes everything. The first humans were not one single species. They were many. Imagine a world that looks like a fantasy novel, but it's our actual history. While our ancestors were evolving in one corner of the world, other humans were building their own lives elsewhere. There was a time on this planet when at least 5, perhaps even 10 different types of humans walked the earth at the same time. Some were giants. Some were tiny. Some were smarter than us. Some were stronger. But today, only we remain. Why? Before we meet our ancestors, we must understand the nightmare they lived in. The Pliocene and Pleistocene epochs were eras of megafauna. In the shadows of the African savanna, the Denisovans, the false saber-toothed, stalked the night. It was a specialist in killing primates. It didn't just hunt for meat, it hunted us. We know this because we find the skulls of our ancestors with twin puncture marks that perfectly match the fangs of these cats. We were not the kings of the jungle. We were the snack. In this world, being a human meant living in a state of constant, vibrating fear. Every snap of a twig, every rustle in the tall grass, every shadow cast by the moon was a potential death sentence. We had no claws to slash, no thick fur to protect us from the cold, no venom to paralyze our enemies. By all laws of biology, we should have gone extinct. But we had one thing, the spark. 2 million years ago, in the dust of East Africa, a creature looked at a stone and saw something no other animal had ever seen. They didn't just see a rock, they saw a weapon. This was Homo habilis, the handyman. They weren't tall, barely 4 feet. They weren't intimidating. But they possessed the spark of imagination. By striking one rock against another, they unlocked the power of the edge. The Oldowan toolkit was the birth of technology. When that first flake of stone flew off a core, the world changed forever. This wasn't just a tool. It was an extension of the human body. It was the moment we stopped waiting for nature to provide and started forcing nature to obey. With a sharp stone, a weak human could do what a lion did. Calorie-rich marrow inside bones that no other animal could crack. This marrow, this brain food, fueled a biological revolution. Our brains began to grow. We were trading our digestive systems for our minds. As our guts shrank because we were eating high-quality protein, our gray matter exploded. We were gambling our survival on intelligence. Then came the titan of human history, Homo erectus. If we are the modern humans, they were the eternal humans. Consider this. Homo sapiens, us, have been around for about 300,000 years. Homo erectus lived for nearly 2 million years. They saw the world change in ways we can't imagine. They survived ice ages and volcanic winters. They were the first to stand truly tall, their bodies built for the long haul. They were the original marathon runners of the animal kingdom. While a cheetah is fast, it tires quickly. Homo erectus could jog for hours, chasing prey in the midday sun until the animal collapsed from heat exhaustion. But their greatest achievement wasn't physical. It was their courage. They were the first to leave home. They trekked across continents, crossing from Africa into the heart of Asia and the forests of Europe. They were the original explorers, the first ones to look at the horizon and ask, what is on the other side? As we look deeper into the cave systems of the world, The story gets weirder. In 2013, deep in the Rising Star Cave of South Africa, scientists squeezed through a crack no wider than a human head to find a chamber filled with bones. This was Homo naledi. They were a walking contradiction. Creatures with brains the size of an orange, yet their hands could craft tools, and their feet looked almost exactly like yours. Even more haunting? They seemed to be burying their dead. A ritual we thought belonged only to advanced humans. And then there are the Denisovans. Found in a freezing cave in Siberia, they are a ghost species. We don't have a full skeleton of them. We only have a successful that when our direct ancestors left Africa, they met the Denisovans and had children with them. If you have ancestors from East Asia or Oceania, you carry the blood of this ghost species in your veins today. They aren't just a footnote in history, they are a part of you. How did these weak, hairless apes eventually take over a world of monsters? They stole the power of the sun. Fire is the most important discovery in the history of life. It did more than just provide warmth or keep the predators at bay. It changed our very DNA. When we started cooking our food, we essentially predigested it outside our bodies. This allowed us to absorb massive amounts of energy without spending hours chewing raw meat or tough roots. But fire did something even more profound. It created the social hour. Before fire, the day ended when the sun went down. You hid in a tree or a cave and waited for morning in silence. But with fire, the night became ours. Around the hearth, the first stories were told. The first plans for the hunt were made. The first religions were born in the dancing shadows on cave walls. Fire turned the night into day. It turned the prey into the predator. For the first time, the monsters in the dark were afraid of us.